Did you know that one of the most famous movie scenes ever filmed almost didn't happen? Suddenly Last Summer is a film that looks like it was shot in a peaceful garden, but behind the camera, everything was intense and dangerous. The movie whispers secrets about danger, truth, and what really happened. It's a story that makes you question everything you see. Every frame holds a mystery. The actors didn't just say lines, they fought with their deepest fears. Let's dive in and discover 20 weird and amazing facts about Suddenly Last Summer. Fact number 20. Elizabeth Taylor almost turned down the movie because of the heat. Elizabeth Taylor was scared, not of the story, not of the acting. She was scared of the weather. The filmmakers wanted to shoot this story about southern gardens and mystery in the middle of summer heat. Taylor was already tired from other films. She looked at the script and thought about the hot sun, the heavy costumes, and the emotional scenes she had to film. She almost said no. But then something happened. She read the character more carefully. She understood that Catherine Holly, her character, was trapped and desperate, just like she might feel trapped in that terrible heat. Suddenly, the heat made sense for the story. The physical suffering became part of the acting. Taylor said yes, but she made sure everyone knew this was hard. Her sweat on screen wasn't acting. It was real. The hot sun became her secret weapon. What looked like a simple casting choice almost fell apart because of the weather. Fact number 19. Montgomery Clift's memory problem changed how scenes were shot. Montgomery Clift was one of the greatest actors of his time, but he had a problem that nobody talked about much. His memory was getting worse. He couldn't memorize long pieces of dialogue like he used to. Other actors noticed during rehearsals. The director had to find creative solutions. Instead of big, long speeches, they broke scenes into smaller pieces. The camera moved closer to actors' faces so they could work with shorter lines. What should have been a disaster actually made the film more intense. The camera stayed tight on faces, on eyes, on fear. Those close-up moments became some of the most powerful shots in cinema. The limitation created art. No one in the audience knew why the camera worked this way. They just felt the power of it. Sometimes a problem becomes a gift. Fact number 18. The garden was built exactly as Tennessee Williams imagined it, down to every flower. Tennessee Williams, who wrote the play, visited the set every single day. He wasn't a difficult visitor. He was like a father watching his child come to life. He walked through every corner of the garden set with the production designer. He pointed at flowers. He explained what each plant meant to him. The garden wasn't just beautiful, it was a character in the story. Roses, vines, strange tropical plants. They all had meaning. Williams wanted the audience to feel trapped by the beauty, just like the characters felt trapped. The set decorator listened to every word. They brought in real plants, real flowers, real humidity. The garden smelled like Louisiana. It looked like memory. When Taylor walked through that garden, she wasn't pretending. She was walking through Williams' dream. The playwright's vision became real on a Hollywood soundstage. Art demanded perfection. Fact number 17. Suddenly, Last Summer was almost banned in 12 countries. This film touched something dangerous. It talked about secrets, about truth, about things families didn't want to discuss. When the movie was finished, censors in different countries watched it carefully. They were worried. The film mentions homosexuality. It talks about murder. It shows mental illness and family secrets. In the 1950s, these topics were forbidden in movies. Some countries said no. They refused to show it. Other countries said yes, but with cuts. Scenes were removed. Dialogue was changed. In America, the Motion Picture Association wanted cuts too. The filmmakers fought back. They argued that the story was important, that art should be honest, that society needed to see real problems, not fake happiness. Some cuts happened, but the power remained. What couldn't be shown in words was shown in faces, in silence, in the garden itself. The censors tried to stop truth. Truth found another way. Fact number 16. The bathing suit scene. Took 14 hours to film. One scene seems simple. Katharine stands in the water. She talks about what happened. It looks easy. It wasn't. Taylor had to stand in that pool for hours. The water was cold. Her makeup had to stay perfect even though she was wet. The director wanted the light to hit her face exactly right. They tried different angles, different times of day, different ways of moving the camera. 14 hours, in water, in costume. Elizabeth Taylor was a professional. She didn't complain, but everyone on set knew it was torture. Her body was freezing. Her mind was focused on the emotional truth of the scene. By the end of the day, her exhaustion was real. The tears on her face were partly acting and partly pure fatigue. What looked like a 5-minute scene was built from 14 hours of suffering. Art demands sacrifice. Fact number 15. The screenplay changed 3 times during production. The original Tennessee Williams play was very long, very dark. When it became a movie, writers had to make choices. Which moments matter most? What can we show? What should we suggest? The first screenplay was too long. Nobody could make it in the time they had. So a second version was written. This one was better. But during filming, problems appeared. Some scenes didn't work. Some dialogue sounded wrong when actors said it aloud. So writers came back and made changes again. A third screenplay, this one was the final one. Actors didn't always know which version was correct. Sometimes they'd learn new lines the night before shooting. The director kept changing his mind about which moments to keep. The cast adapted constantly. What emerged was a hybrid. Part Williams, part original screenplay writers, part the actors' choices, part the director's vision. By the end, nobody could separate what came from where. Art is collaboration. Fact number 14. Albert Finney was offered the role. Before Montgomery Clift producers wanted someone younger for the male lead. Albert Finney was hot at the time. He was talented. He was available. They approached him. But Finney had other plans. He was building his career differently. He didn't want to be part of this particular story. So they turned to Montgomery Clift. Clift had played beautiful, troubled young men before. He understood the character's pain instantly. Clift brought something Finney might not have brought, a sense of real damage, real sorrow. Clift knew what it meant to hide parts of yourself. He knew what it meant to be trapped. His performance became the heart of the movie. History changed because one actor said no. We never know where these moments come from. We only know that somehow the right people found each other. Fact number 13. The psychiatrist's office was designed to make actors uncomfortable. The filmmakers understood something important. If a scene should feel uncomfortable, then the space should feel uncomfortable. The psychiatrist's office was built to be confining. The walls were too close. The furniture was positioned oddly. The colors were slightly wrong. Not obviously wrong, just enough to make your body feel uneasy. When actors performed in that room, they didn't have to pretend to feel trapped. They actually felt trapped. The director never told them about this choice. He wanted their discomfort to be real and natural. When Taylor's character sits in that chair, she's not comfortable. The audience can feel it. What looks like a professional office becomes a cage. Smart design becomes invisible. Acting help. Fact number 12. Elizabeth Taylor refused to wear a wig even though the production wanted her to. Hair matters in movies. A wig can protect an actor's real hair. Producers often wanted actresses to wear wigs so their natural hair wouldn't get damaged by heat, water, or chemicals. The production suggested this to Taylor. She said no. She said her real hair had to be in the film. She said wigs would create a barrier between her and the character. If her hair suffered, then Katharine's suffering was real. if her hair got damaged, that was part of the story. Taylor's vanity wasn't about looking pretty. It was about being honest. Her damaged hair became a visual metaphor for Katharine's damaged mind. The audience never knew this choice was made. They just saw the hair and felt the character's pain more deeply. What seemed like a small decision became powerful. Fact number 11. Montgomery Clift learned the entire monologue phonetically, because English wasn't his natural speaking voice. Wait, that's not quite true. English was his natural language. But Clift had a specific way of speaking that he created for this character. The accent, the rhythm, the pace, it was all constructed. It wasn't natural to him. So he broke the monologue down like he was learning a foreign language. Sound by sound, word by word. He didn't memorize meaning. He memorized the music of the character's voice. This gave his performance something strange and distant. He sounds like he's reciting truth, but there's something performed about it. Artificial, constructed, which is exactly right for a character who is telling a story that might not be true. Clift's choice created doubt without anyone knowing why. The phonetic approach created distance. Distance created mystery. Fact number 10. The garden in the movie was built on a beach. The most famous set in the movie, the garden, wasn't actually a garden in a real place. It was built on a beach in California, on sand, by the ocean. This meant everything had to be constructed perfectly. There was no natural foundation. Every plant had to be supported specially. Every wall had to be engineered carefully. Heavy rains could destroy everything. Sandstorms could ruin costumes. The ocean air would corrode equipment. The production team had to create an artificial world on the most unstable ground possible. It's a beautiful metaphor for the film itself. Everything beautiful and perfect is built on something fragile. One storm could take it away. The characters in the story are the same, beautiful on the surface, fragile underneath. Art mirrors life. Fact number 9. The final monologue was shot 17 times. The most important moment in the film is when Katharine finally tells the truth. Everything before this moment has been building toward it. The script called for a monologue, a long speech where Katharine describes what really happened. Taylor wanted it to be perfect. Director Joseph L. Mankiewicz wanted it to be perfect. They shot it again, and again, and again, 17 times. Between takes, Taylor would sit in the garden. Mankiewicz would talk to her about what he wanted, what emotion, what truth, what memory. Each take was different. Each one revealed something new. By take 17, Taylor wasn't acting anymore. She was remembering, she was confessing, she was broken in exactly the right way. The final version uses pieces from different takes, stitched together. 17 different performances became one true moment. Perfection required patience. Fact number 8. The film's biggest secret was hidden in the script itself. If you read the original play by Tennessee Williams, you know what happened. You understand the truth. But the movie doesn't explain it clearly. The filmmakers trusted the audience to understand without being told. They buried clues. They hid meaning. They made the audience work for understanding. Some viewers watched the film and never understood the deepest secret. Some watched it 5 times before the truth became clear. The mystery wasn't a flaw. It was intentional. Great art doesn't explain everything. Great art asks questions. Great art makes you think. The film's power comes from what isn't said, not from what is said. Silence became a character. Fact number 7. Suddenly, Last Summer was based on a one-act play, not a full-length drama Tennessee. Williams wrote this as a short play, a concentrated story, not a long, complex work. This was important because it meant the story had to be intense. Every moment had to matter. There was no room for side plots or secondary characters who weren't essential. When the play became a movie, this intensity had to continue. The filmmaker couldn't add typical movie things like romance subplots or comedic relief. The tension had to build constantly. No breaks, just pressure, even more pressure, until the final confession. This is why the film feels different from other dramas. It doesn't relax. It doesn't give the audience rest. The audience feels what Katharine feels, trapped, questioned, desperate for the truth to come out. The short form became long tension. Fact number 6. The producers fought with the American censors for 6 months. About one word, a single word in the dialogue. The censors said this word couldn't be in an American film. The producers said this word was essential. The word was necessary for understanding the story. Without this word, the truth would be hidden. For 6 months, they argued. Letters went back and forth. Lawyers got involved. The producers brought in doctors, psychiatrists, and professors to explain why this word was important. Finally, the censors gave in. The word stayed in the film. What word? Homosexuality. The film needed to say this word to tell its truth. The censors wanted to hide it. The filmmakers refused. Art required honesty. Truth required language. Fact number 5. Elizabeth Taylor and Montgomery Clift had a special bond because of their past. Taylor and Clift had known each other for years. They understood each other, not romantically, but deeply. They both felt like outsiders in Hollywood. They both had secrets they carried. They both knew what it meant to play a character while hiding your true self. This understanding created magic on screen. When they looked at each other, it wasn't just acting. It was recognition. It was connection. The audience feels this. The chemistry between them isn't romantic. It's emotional. It's the recognition of two people who understand suffering. This bond came from real life. It transferred to the movie. What looked like acting was partly truth. Their connection became the film's secret heart. Fact number 4. The film was shot in black and white. Because the director believed color would be a distraction, Joseph L. Mankiewicz made a choice. He said no to color. This was the 1950s. Color was new. Color was exciting. Studios wanted color films. But Mankiewicz said this story needed black and white. He said the garden, the costumes, the emotions, they didn't need color. Color would make the audience look at pretty things. He wanted the audience to look at faces, to look at truth. Black and white made the film timeless. It made the film feel like memory. It made the film feel like confession. The choice seems strange now, refusing color when color was available. But it was brilliant. The absence of color became presence. What wasn't there became the most important thing. Fact number 3. The final cut was shorter than any version the director wanted. Mankiewicz shot the film with enough material for a 3-hour movie. He had scenes, he had moments, he had depth. But the studio said no. The studio wanted a 90-minute film, 90 minutes. So Mankiewicz had to cut. Scenes came out, moments disappeared. The film became tighter, more focused, more intense. Mankiewicz didn't like losing the material, but then something happened. The tighter film was better, stronger, more powerful. What the director thought was loss became art. The missing scenes made the remaining scenes stronger. The audience's imagination filled in what was cut. What isn't shown becomes more powerful than what is shown. Sometimes constraints create masterpieces. Fact number 2. Montgomery Clift refused to play the scene where his character admits the truth. There's a moment where the male character should confess something, should admit his role in what happened. Clift said no. He said his character would never confess. He would never admit it. The character would take the secret to his grave. Mankiewicz argued. The script says confession. Clift said the script is wrong about this character. Mankiewicz respected Clift's understanding. They changed the scene. the character never fully confesses. The truth comes from Katharine, not from him. He remains partly hidden, partly mysterious. This made the film stronger. The male character's silence became more powerful than his confession would have been. The actor understood the character better than the writer understood the character. Collaboration created truth. The actor's choice changed the ending. Fact number 1. The garden scene. Where Everything Changes was shot without any other actors. The pivotal moment, where Katharine finally reveals what happened, was filmed alone. Taylor was by herself in the garden, no Montgomery Clift, no other actors, just Taylor and the camera. Later, Clift's reaction shots were filmed separately. His scenes were added in editing. This means Taylor was confessing to nothing, to nobody, to emptiness. She was telling her truth to the camera, to the audience, to silence. This is why the scene is so powerful. She's not performing for another actor. She's performing for us. She's speaking directly to the audience's heart. The technical choice became emotional choice. Isolation became power. What looks like a simple scene became revolutionary. The actress was truly alone. Her pain was truly alone. Her truth was truly alone. Bonus fact, the real-life inspiration and the playwright's secrets Tennessee Williams based this play on something real, something that happened to his own family. He never said exactly what. He never confirmed the details. The ambiguity is part of the power. Is this story about what really happened? Or is it about memory? About how family secrets get told and retold until nobody knows what's true. The playwright's mystery mirrors the movie's mystery. Is Katharine telling the truth? Did it really happen that way? Williams refused to answer. He said the ambiguity was the point. Art isn't about giving answers. Art is about asking questions that don't have easy answers. The film keeps this mystery alive. It doesn't resolve it. It doesn't explain it. It lets the mystery breathe. That mystery is what makes people think about the film 50 years later. The past lived again through art. Suddenly, Last Summer is a film about hidden truth. It's about what happens when secrets finally break through. It's about the courage it takes to tell the truth and the cost of keeping secrets. Behind the scenes, the filmmakers were also looking for truth. They refused to make easy choices. They fought with censors. They changed scripts. They trusted actors. They built impossible gardens on beaches. They shot scenes 17 times. They chose black and white over color. They believed in art over comfort. This film teaches us something important. Real art isn't about being pretty or popular. Real art is about being honest. It's about showing people what they need to see, not what they want to see. Every choice the filmmakers made, every small decision about heat, about hairstyles, about monologues, these were choices about truth. If you enjoyed these stories, subscribe for more. Every movie hides a truth, and we'll keep uncovering them one story at a time. Thank you for watching.